Hey, what's going on? Appreciate y'all joining. Normally don't go live this late, but wanted to kind of run this stuff by you guys. So just kind of wanted to get a little feedback. So just give a couple more minutes, and what I'm gonna try to go over is what I'm considering a a summary of this whole spiritual reality journey, whatever you want to call this reality, right? So appreciate you guys joining, and I know it's late, so just kind of wanted to bounce it off some more living light beings, if you will. So I just did a video on this and posted it, but it felt like it was kind of rushed trying to get it all in 3 minutes. What's going on, I'm Stillness? So just kind of wanted to get your feedback. So appreciate you guys joining again. And hey, what's going on? What G? Okay. Yeah, so this is what it boils down to, and oh, okay. I appreciate it, which I appreciate it. I try to. Anyway. But I love to get your comments. So whoever is on this is meant to be on it. Again, this is late for me on my end. Not sure what time it is. I know it's Saturday night and it's snowing here, and I'm in the house just doing what I do. So I'm glad you guys could join. Alrighty. So again, I did post a video. Hey, what's going on? This is excellent. I appreciate it. Hey, what's going on? Alrighty. So here's the whole thing, and we'll get into it. Alrighty. So. And I did this video, I'm just kind of walking through it in a slower point. But let's say this light right here is you, right? You're a light being, okay? And we're going to try to look at this from a simple standpoint. So let me know if this doesn't make sense, all right? So this light being is the being part of you, right? There's a human part of you, and then there's a being part of you. I know my screen name isn't great. Thank you for letting me. Oh, no, thank you for coming, boss. Appreciate it. So human being, right? So there's a human part of you, and then there's a being part of you. The human part is the physical part, the thing part of you. The being part is the non-physical, no thing part of you, okay? The no thing part of you, I'm just calling that a light being, right? I mean, that's what we are. You are who you are. We're not adding anything to you or anything like that. That's what we are. So the spiritual journey is really about removing what we're not to reveal what's left, right? When you remove what you're not, what's left is that's what you are. That's your consciousness, that's your soul, your spirit, blah, 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 okay? So when we talk about we're spiritual beings having a human experience, this is what we're talking about. We're really non-physical, non-local consciousness experiencing physicality in this human vessel, right? So this whole thing is kind of, working through that. All right, so let's just talk about fifth dimensional, 5-dimensional, all right? So we're just going to look at 3-dimensional, okay? You got left and right, that's X. You got forward and back, that's Y. And then you got up and down, that's X, right? Let's just look at it from that standpoint, right? So that's 3-dimensional. This little ball right here represents the 3rd dimension, just represents physicality, okay? So, let me know if I'm going too fast or it doesn't make sense, and we can get into whatever. But this is physicality, okay? This board right here kind of represents the physical dimension, right? Length, width, and height, even though it's only 2-dimensional, right? So I try to let the ball represent the 3rd dimension, okay? So we got that. Time. Time is just the movement of space, right? If we didn't have time, everything would just be frozen, okay? So time is just the movement of space from one point of space-time to the other point. So let's just say this 3-dimensional space, if I move it from here to here, that's time from that point to that point, okay? So space, time, we're experiencing space, time. So, and we're experiencing it from a different dimension, just like we're looking at this from a different dimension. We're seeing space, and the movement of that space is time. So we're witnessing that, we're experiencing that. So this whole space-time experience that we are all experiencing as multidimensional light beings is what we call life, okay? That's what we're experiencing now. Appreciate the light. So in any questions, let me know. I'm just trying to see if this makes any sense. I'm talking to it from a high level, all right? So that's what it is. I mean, at the highest level, you're a light being, a non-physical, spiritual being, non-local consciousness, experiencing human physicality, space, in time. That's what life is, just space moving, right? So if you look at this hourglass, it goes from here to here. Space moves, and the movement from space from one point to another is time, right? Okay, so now this whole thing represents vibration and frequency, right? And kind of the spiritual journey, okay? So let's just say our vessels, our spaceship is our body, right? We're experiencing space and time through this vehicle or this avatar that we call a body. That's what we're all doing now. All of us are experiencing space and time through this body, right? This is our spaceship, if you will. This is how we navigate this reality that we call life. Now, life has ups and downs. It's vibration, it's emotion, okay? The spiritual journey is about maximizing the potential in this life, right? So that's what this kind of represents. So the red pill and the blue pill, where the blue pill is just the physical aspect of us. It's just the people that are stuck in the human side, stuck in the physical side, right? And the red pill is the non-physical side. This is really our true being, the non-physical experiencing the physical. So awakening is when you expand the range from the blue pill side to the red pill side, where you really get in contact with your true being, right? It allows you to maximize your potential here. It allows you to really express yourself at a higher level. There's a lot of things that each person's journey is going to be different. Each person's special sauce. We all have the things to contribute. Appreciate you guys joining in brotherhood and consciousness, right? So the awakening journey is where you realize that you're just not a physical being, that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, right? And I put these clouds here as turbulence and interference and noise, right? So my name, Victor Bang, stands for victory over noise, right? Because there's a lot of noise and interference to get through to even get this information, for one, and to have your own realization of this being who you truly are. Like, this is you. You are the light, right? So this is the spiritual journey. This is the awakening. This is realizing what you are. And it's not adding anything to you. It's not a belief system. You are who you are. The question is, do you know that? Do you realize that? And have you had that experience yourself? So the spiritual journey is having that experience. And in this reality, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of dissonance, if you will. There's a lot of turbulence to get up from this point to realize what you are. But you are, and I use the airplane. This is charging. All right. I use the airplane because an airplane is made to fly, okay? We're made to fly. Now, even though we're made to fly, an airplane does spend time on the ground, okay? When an airplane is on the ground, it's for a reason. That's why, absolutely. That's why stillness is very important. An airplane is on the ground for a reason. It's meant to fly. That's its purpose, right? Our purpose is to express ourselves. Like, I use this analogy because we're meant to fly. That's our being. Our being is meant to fly. But sometimes an airplane is on the ground to refuel, for maintenance, and things of that nature. Part of this reality tries to keep us in lower level consciousness, to keep us on the ground, to keep us from reaching the heights and potential that we can have, right? And there's different ways that they do that. And that's kind of what this analogy shows. So you can see this particular plane right here is on the ground for a long time, but eventually it gets up above the clouds and then it realizes that it can fly, right? And it starts to realize its potential. The other part of this little graphic just shows that even as you awakening, you're still going to be on a roller coaster, if you will. You still have emotions. You're still going to have ups and downs, right? But as you realize who you are and what you are, even if you come back down to refuel, right? You don't have to stay down as long as you did before, right? As you awaken, you may come back down. You're going to have your ups and downs. It doesn't mean that you're perfect when you realize who you are. We're still in this emotional roller coaster that we call life. But just because you come down doesn't mean you have to stay down for a long time, right? You can just come down, refuel, do what you have to do, learn whatever lessons you have to learn, and then you can get back up, right? And the whole idea with this is to realize that as you go back up, you don't have to come back down for as long as you came back down for the first time as you started awakening. And then eventually you will come down and you can refuel in the air, if you will. That's kind of what this looks like. It was going on the Only Philip. So that's that example. So your lows, if you will, do not have to be as low as they were and as long as they were. That's kind of what this is showing. So yeah, you're going to have ups and downs, but that doesn't mean you have to be at the bottom for as long. And then you're going to raise your own bottom. So this is the raising of consciousness from an individual standpoint and from a collective standpoint. All right. So that's what that shows, that as you go up and down on this roller coaster, which is natural, that's part of us having emotions. But when you realize who you are, the being part, you gain more control over your emotions. You realize you're not your body, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions and things of that nature. Right. Yeah, absolutely. We all are learning. And I learn from you guys as well. Yeah, that's the egg. Absolutely. I did a little video on that too. And that's I like the way that they did that. Alrighty. Yeah, recover quickly. Absolutely. So you don't stay at the bottom as longer. Now let's talk about this air traffic controller. I've talked about this as well. So part of this reality, so this is our potential. This is our range, right? Now, part of the game that's played against us is to keep us at a lower level, right? Because they can control this part of it, but they can't control that part of it. And when I say they, I'm just talking about, let's just call them the 1% at this point. And I put them as air traffic controllers, right? So if you don't have your own experience of going above the clouds, then you may take other people's experience, or you may listen to other people that can try to limit you on what you're able to do. An airplane is meant to fly as high as it's able to fly. But if you listen to the air traffic controllers that are not you, that are not piloting your ship, they can make it seem like you can't fly as high as you can fly, right? They will try to limit you based on belief systems, religions, and all of these things, right? Another way that they control us and keep us at a lower level of consciousness, or keep us on the ground, if you will, or stuck in the turbulence, is by deifying the beings that get up to this level. So if someone takes their ship, their spaceship, just like the spaceship that you have, and take it up to a high level, right? And then come back down, and they're telling everyone else, hey, you can do the same thing as well. Part of what the air traffic controllers do is they say, oh, well, that particular airplane is special. That's the one and only airplane that can go that high. But that airplane, that body, that human being has 2 arms, 2 legs, just like you. That airplane has 2 wings, just like you, and is able to fly just as high as we all are. But part of the game is to try to deify these beings that get up this high and say the one and only. They're the only ones that can do that. And that limits a lot of people. They don't even try to go that way because there's no need to, because these people are controlling the narrative and saying only a select few planes can get up there, right? And most of the time when you look at these teachings, they're saying the things that I can do, you can do as well. You can fly high as well. I mean, we're meant to fly. We're airplanes. So that's part of what we're meant to do. But if you don't have that experience, if you don't take that journey yourself, and these people can show you, but you have to do it yourself. You're in control of your own pilot. I mean, you have the free will to do that or not. What's going on, Killer? Being spiritually, physically, mentally. Absolutely. And that's the thing I wanted to mention as well. Like, even on a spiritual journey, you're going to have your ups and downs. Like, some people make it seem like, okay, well, just because you're aware of the true nature of your being, that doesn't mean that you don't experience emotions. You have a different perspective on your emotions. You don't identify with your emotions, but you still feel them because that's feedback. That's telling you something. That's information. Just like when you get on the ground, there's a lesson to be learned when you're on the ground. You can refill, you can do maintenance on your plane and all of these things. But we're not meant to stay on the ground. We're not meant to be grounded. We have wings to fly. So that's part of the thing that I kind of wanted to explain and see if that made any sense from a simplicity standpoint, because we all have the ability to do this. And from a collective, as we do this, as you can see, the lows get, for one, it may still be the same low, but now the duration has changed, right? And then you see the low is even higher, right? You don't have to stay there as long. And eventually you're going to be off the charts, right? And you're not going to go below the clouds, right? And it's turbulence to get through the clouds if you ever flew on a plane. But once you get above the clouds, you're above the weather, right? Hey, what's going on, Beyond? Hey, how you doing? So as you get above the clouds, and the turbulence is going through the clouds as you've probably experienced on the plane, but you're above the weather now. You're above the turbulence. You're above all the noise, right? And again, my name is Victor Bang because it's victory over noise, right? Getting above the clouds. And I'm no one special. We all have the ability. We're all light beings experiencing this thing, and this is what life is. And I'm just trying to explain this in a simple way. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And this is the larger, more expansive aspect of us. This is the part of us that gets above the clouds. And this awakening is people realizing this. And as we continue to do that, as we raise this vibration, this changes our reality. This changes our collective. You can see the bottom gets raised, right? And now more and more people are not experiencing this cognitive dissonance, this separation, this war. All of these things are within this turbulence, right? And the people that want to keep us grounded and want to keep us under control just simply want to keep us at a lower level, for their own reasons that we don't really have to get into here. But that's the experience, right? So I'm curious to see what you guys think and what thoughts do you feel. Let's see. Do you feel we are all different incarnations? Yeah, we're all the same. That same light is manifested in all of us, that same being, that same consciousness. So we're all the same thing experiencing its creation, right? Just from this is the information that I've summarized with my journey, right? And it's just me talking on one end of it, and it's something that you can experience yourself. But it's all just like it's all one energy, it's all one consciousness, right? There is the illusion is the separation, right? Then let's just say that this is the illusion. Anything below the clouds is separation. And once you get above the clouds, you see the other planes are just another version of yourself. We're all reflections of this same light, reflecting to each other. And once you realize that, this is the part that raises this thing, because when you look at the other person, you see another reflection of you, just like some of the teachers said, treat others as you want to be treated. When you realize that they're another reflection of you, then odds are you're going to treat them better. You're going to be more compassionate. You're going to be more empathetic. You're going to listen. You're going to try to understand more, because they're not separate. They're not a separate being. They're not a separate thing. And we realize the oneness that we're part of, just like we're not separate from nature. A part of this reality is trying to control things, control nature, and we need to get back to balance and to wholeness, right? And just like one consciousness says, where's he at? We're having each other's experience and coming together. Absolutely. It's all one thing. Even the physical world, when you look at the equation, E equals MC squared, right? There's only one E. So even energy is just different vibrations of space-time, right? I mean, you can look at cymatics, if you will. I did a video on that where you can see different vibrations create different shapes, right? So if you can imagine the background of this, multiple vibrations coming together to create what we call matter. But matter is still one energy, and we're one consciousness experiencing one energy. And we mentioned consciousness being primary. So this is the primary part of ourselves, and this is the thing we're experiencing. So this is the ride that we're on. This is the roller coaster that we're on as these spiritual beings. And what can we do? It's about to try. Not too much. Okay, well, I'm just trying to see what the comment, just catching up. But that's what I wanted to kind of show, right? And that was really it. Just trying to summarize that. And the thing is, a lot of people, again, they limit themselves based on other people's perceptions of what they're capable of doing. But they have an airplane, they have wings that were made to fly. I mean, and if you don't take that journey yourself, you don't know what's possible. You don't know your own limitations, right? And a lot of these religions and spiritual ideologies and things of that nature are just based on people just like me and you that have reached more of their potential, right? And then they come down and then they tell us, and it's up to us to do our own work and have our own experience. But a lot of people, deify those beings. Religions are made around them, but they're just like you. They're human beings just like you. We're all part of the same thing. So reprogramming ourselves. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's part of the thing. This is part of the programming. And I'm just using this control tower as an example, because a pilot is listening to the control tower, and the control tower is telling them XYZ. You can't fly high and this, that, and the other. And if you just go by someone that's not even been up there, maybe they haven't even flown, maybe they're just giving you the limitations that they feel, allow that as well. People will put on you limitations that they have, so you have to keep in mind with that as well. And sometimes you have to prove yourself wrong, because you can take in the programming of what other people think is possible for you. And some people limit themselves based on what other people have done. But your journey is to fly as high as you can, and most people can fly a lot higher than they realize. Our true nature is no thing. No thing. When I say no thing, not a physical thing, right? Most of science, studies physical things that they can measure, right? But most scientists don't even know who the scientist is, right? They're just focused on what you can put a ruler to, what you can put a yardstick to, right? What has weight. But your consciousness doesn't have weight. And all of this experience, all of this physicality is for your consciousness. Like, we're not just here. It all feeds into your being, right? This is for your being to experience. And your being is a non-physical being, right? And science is eventually catching up, but I don't think we have to, and we should wait on them to catch up to what we can already know and experience ourselves, right? I think we are on the leading edge of this, and science is catching up to things that we've already known. You can even look at some of the ancients that have known these things, right? But we are no thing, right? Experiencing something. So, and when you also look at you men, right? Another thing you can look at is different yous, different colors of the same man, and man is man and woman, right? It's both, not just, masculine, right? Masculine and feminine. We're a combination of both. But there's different hues of us as well, different colors of the rainbow. That's another part of this deception in this turbulence here, right? Blue is not better than red. Yellow is not better than green. You don't see the colors of the rainbow fighting each other. They all know they're the same spectrum, just different frequencies of light. We're all different frequencies of light, different shades of light. The same thing, the same light being experiencing you, man, different hues of man. All of us have different colors, but the being that we are is the same. It's the same. And we're all the same underneath when you look at just a superficial layer of skin that we all have, right? So again, this is all things that they try to do to separate and control us, because, and I mentioned this before, the only way 1% can control 99% is if the 99% don't know their own value. That's the only way they can do it. So part of the game is to devalue us and make us think that we're supposed to be on the ground. We're supposed to be grounded. But no, we're supposed to fly. That's who we are. That's our purpose. We're here to experience as much of this as we want to, right? The reality that we're in is not natural. A lot of you already know this. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't seem right. We're out of balance with a lot of things, but we have the numbers. We have the ability to change this tomorrow if we really wanted to, but it's a process because the programming is strong. And we're just here on TikTok doing a live, on Saturday night. But a lot of the programming is happening on mainstream media and things of that nature. I mean, there's a lot of momentum that got us to this point. So we didn't get here overnight. So, it's probably unrealistic to think it's going to change overnight. But we can begin that process. And part of this is just sharing this information just from one light being to another. And I just kind of wanted to get your feedback just to see what you're feeling. Are we experiencing a perspective of ourselves through what we've? Well, that's so part of that is true, because people will, and I've experienced this as well. People will see you through a lens that's in their mind, and that's something that happens a lot, right? People will perceive you not as you are, but as how they see you, if that makes any sense. So we can experience ourselves. What do you say? Are we experiencing the perspective of ourselves through what we perceive of others? Yeah, that's probably true. And other people can judge us based on their own perceptions and perspectives of themselves, right? I mentioned before, people don't treat you how they want to treat themselves. Sometimes people don't treat you how they want to be treated. I mean, they treat you how they treat themselves, right? So we see a lot of that as well. So yes, though I feel that I agree. The system in place is not natural. It's definitely not natural. It's out of balance. It's out of balance, and that's the thing. It's going to be up to us to balance. We have it. It's not going to, the system, I mentioned this before, the system is not going to correct itself. It's not going to fix itself. Some people will say, well, the system is corrupt and the system is broken. But the more I look at this, the system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's working as it should, right? And the system is not going to correct itself because the people involved in that system are benefiting from the system. So it's going to be difficult for the people benefiting from something to change it. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. They like the power and control. They like being able to keep people at a lower state. So we can't expect them to change. We have to be the agents of change. We got to be the ones that create the change that we want to see. I mean, if not us, then who? You can see the timeline that we're on. You can see if we don't do anything, pretty much what's going to happen. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to see if something doesn't change. I mean, we're on a path to self-destruction, right? And the system isn't correcting itself. It's just continuing to do what it does. The rich are continuing to get richer. The poor are continuing to get poorer. I mean, we see this. We see the results of it. So whether we vote in this person or that person, the same thing is happening. We're on the same trajectory. So we have to do something different. We have to take our power back and our control back. The universe is doing a great job. Yeah, no, it is. And here's the thing. This is a reality of duality and free will. So we can change this. It's not anyone's fault but ours. I mean, we have to take responsibility and accountability. And that's something else that a lot of people don't want to do. A lot of people are waiting for someone else to save them. That's part of their program as well. It's like you can't fly. Someone else has to come down and get you off of the ground. Your wings don't work. You're not able to get up there like the other beings. But that's not the way this works. There's no one coming to save us. We're the ones that we've been waiting on. And the quicker that we figure that out and realize that, then the sooner that we can start to right the ship. Good luck with that. All right, gotcha. So how do you explain regret? Regret. I mean, it's really like beating yourself up for a mistake. I mean, we all make mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. So the thing is, like, regret can be, landing on the ground and staying there too long, right? And just beating yourself up for having to land, for having to refuel, for having to have a flat tire, or for having to get some maintenance, right? I mean, we're going to be on this journey. You're going to have ups and downs. That's just part of it. The thing is to not beat yourself up when you have to land and when you're at a low point, but really try to understand the lesson to be learned from that point. And then, incorporate that lesson, make the changes from that and move on. Let's not beat ourselves up for making mistakes, because a lot of us learn from those mistakes. We didn't learn to walk by, we learned to walk by learning how not to fall. So if we beat ourselves up for falling, we'll stay on the ground, and we regret ever even trying to walk. So we have to forgive ourselves as well and understand we're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes, plenty of mistakes. We all make mistakes. But the thing is to learn from those mistakes and not repeat those mistakes, because those mistakes are lessons. You can even learn from negative things. You can learn how not to be, from negative relationships, what kind of relationship you don't want to be in. So, that is a crazy cycle, in my opinion. Are people that bored that they have to create it? Yeah, it's part of the game, brotherhood healing. And once you see the game, you see the script. Like they're not very creative. They run the same play. Divide and conquer, separation, to get us to fight each other, because they don't have the resources and the numbers to police us themselves. So they have to create separation and division within us to get us to do their work for us. And, these wars, right? I mean, you got one person dictating other people to do their bidding, right? As soon as those people say, I'm not doing this, it stops, right? That's it. What's up, Gunner? Forgiveness, compassion removes. I'm with you. Definitely, I am stillness. Yeah, so that's really all I wanted to say. And I definitely appreciate you guys joining in and liking and all that stuff. And like I say, I did a video on it and I tried to squeeze it in 3 minutes, but I really want to bounce it off some people and kind of get your thoughts on it. Because I really try to think about things simply. Because a lot of people get caught up in the details, right? In these areas, in this turbulence, this is where a lot of the division and separation come in. Because if you are in the clouds and you're in that turbulence, it's shaky, right? And some people can get up here and go back down, and not feel that they can rise above it for whatever reason. And a lot of the separation and division happens within this turbulence. But have faith in yourself and continue on that path, and you'll eventually get above the clouds. And you'll realize and prove to yourself that this is what you can do and this is what you are. And no one else can do that for you. No one else can do that for you. We can only talk about it and show examples. Like this plane comes up here and lands, and you've been on the ground and you've been grounded and you haven't even got on the runway. You're the pilot of your own ship. No one else can get in there. I can't get behind in your spaceship, behind your eyes, and move your controls, right? Only you can do that. The only thing people can do is just show you an example, And that's what these great spiritual beings have done, is just showed us examples. The thing is, they've manipulated that into religions and said they're the only ones that can fly. But you're a pilot as well. You're a human being as well. And that the being part of you is connected in the same thing as the being part of them. Their playbook is basically designed to keep the masses out. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they want to keep us down here. Absolutely. Alrighty, y'all. No one's coming to save you. You must save yourself. Absolutely, Gunner. That's true. That's true. And again, that's part of the program, is to make us look to some other savior, whether it's a politician, whether it's a preacher, whether it's some religious figure. It can be a whole lot of different things. But again, it's going to be us. We have to take responsibility and accountability. And a lot of people don't want that power because they don't want to make mistakes and all of this thing. But hey, we're going to make mistakes, right? The thing is to learn from them. So that's part of the thing, y'all. Reincarnation, though. Yeah. So that being, that consciousness is on this cycle of life. Now, I don't think too much about reincarnation, but I have no problem with that. I definitely think we can come back as if we're really one consciousness experiencing this reality, then the other beings that are coming in are just reincarnations of that same consciousness, that same you. So I'm a reincarnation of you. The other people on this live are reincarnations of this same consciousness, the same light, this same being. So, I mean, we're proof of it coming in. Does the light die when we die? Or does it come back in with new birth? It's just like nature. The energy is recycled, right? So consciousness is, and that's part of the evolution, of what we are, this being, and it's continuous. We're all on that path. So, and I've heard that they've taken, reincarnation out of some of the teachings, to try to make it seem like you only got one chance at this, and then if you don't get it right, this deity or this God is going to punish you forever for something that you did in one lifetime. And again, that's part of the game to keep you from really expanding yourself. And this is something, again, you have to prove to yourself. Exactly. We're infinite beings. We go back to source. We're all connected. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. You hit it on the head. So I definitely appreciate y'all coming, and we'll see where this goes. I've had my experience, and it's funny. I'm looking at this now and thinking it has to do with clouds, and I had my awakening experience in the clouds. Blah blah blah. But my experience right now is like awakening in a dream, like literally. So that's why I've been so adamant and so out front because I've proved this to myself, and I know I'm nobody special, and I know the same flight that I can take, that you guys have the same wings, and so this is possible, and this is how we change it. We have to look at it from a higher consciousness standpoint. This is how we're going to get out of the rut that we're in, and so I'm very adamant about it, and really trying to see what I can do on my journey as far as maximizing it, and I'm sure you guys are as well. How's my girlfriend a version of myself? Well, if you think about the being that you are, right, the light being that you are, if your girlfriend has that same being, that same light, and it's a reflection of that same light, then that's a different reflection of you. I mean, we're all the same reflection of light and energy interacting with itself. I mean, what I call life is a light, interactive, fractal experience. This light is interacting with itself in a fractal, holographic way. And that includes your girlfriend, that includes me, that includes the other people on this live, that includes nature, that includes the universe. I mean, it's one thing, and we're a part of that thing. Just like cells, we can use that example. You're made of trillions of cells, and they may not look like you. Your brain cell doesn't look like you. Your skin cell doesn't look like you. Your neuron doesn't look like you, but they're all part of you. They contribute to the one being that is you. So even your being is an example of oneness, and it looks like it's a separate thing, but it behaves as one total organism, right? And that, we can use that example as well and behave as one humanity. There's almost 8 billion of us, but there's more cells in you that are united as one being. So why can't 8 billion, or whatever the number is on the planet now, act as one being now, right? I mean, that's why I mentioned fractal, because we're part of it, or holographic, if you will. Your being is an example of the universe. I mean, we're all made from stardust, right? And we're just that light experience in its own creation. And our physical being is, as they say, as above, so below, right? Because even the people that are on the bottom, even the people that are not aware of this, it doesn't change who they are, right? They're just unaware of it. They just haven't had that realization themselves, right? It doesn't change who they are. They're still that same being. So, one little planet full. We are other people. That's why we see reflections. Everyone see that. Yep. Yeah, and I definitely appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all coming in. J. Cole, appreciate you commenting and all that stuff. And I don't know where you guys are, but hope everything is well with you. And I'm going to continue to kind of do this thing. And my thing is, I'm a quiet person, right? And I said during my journey, if I ever found out anything, if I ever had a realization, I'd be the worst secret keeper on the planet, right? So I feel I've held up that to the best of my ability. I wish I had more influence and things of that nature, because there's plenty of other things that we can do. Like I mentioned, the whole presidential run, just to show different ideas of the potential for us. We talk about the system. The system is not interested in solving problems of world hunger, or solving problems of homelessness or addiction or whatever, higher consciousness. They're not interested in that, because that's going to take the control away from them. But the system that they have is only benefiting a few, and it's benefiting a few on the backs of all of us. So we have to be the ones to come up with the new ideas and new ways of looking at things. And part of what I wanted to do is expand that vision, to show this vision up here to the beings that are down here, not as someone special, not as someone, just another version of themselves, another reflection of themselves. Just to hold the mirror up to the best degree that I can, to show them that light is within them as well. Yeah, the government system, yeah. If you think about it, on this planet, everything that we're given for free, right? I mean, just think about it. There's no such thing as borders. These lines are imaginary lines, just like these lines that we're drawing here. This person over here invades this person over here because they're different. It's all part of the whole separation game. When you really scale out and look at, just like you're all one being. We're all one planet. We're all one earth. There's no separation. That's part of the illusion, and they use that to keep us divided. And these governments and these organizations are playing on that, and we fall into that as well. But that's part of the illusion. It's definitely part of the illusion. And it doesn't benefit us. When you think about it, it doesn't benefit us. But going back to this reality, right? Everything we got for free, right? Money is a loser. Money's not even real, right? So when someone talks about how much it costs to do something, it's not about the cost of it. It's about the value of it, and do we have the resources? Those are the things that we should be asking, not how much it costs, because money is just something imaginary anyway. That's why I talk about a resource-based economy, and time-based currency, right? Because time is the only thing that we can't get back. So I appreciate you guys spending time, right? And my time is not more valuable than yours, and we all, time is very important. But some of these, rich people, they value their time more than ours, right? And that's how they're able to make more money, through cheaper labor and the whole slavery thing was just maximizing profit and all of that stuff, getting cheap labor and making money off that. The same thing happens on a larger scale. We're just debt slaves. So, they're not getting free labor, but they're getting less cost than they're paying themselves, right? Jeff Bezos is not going to pay himself per hour for his time that he's going to pay the Amazon worker in his warehouse, right? He values his time more than the person in the Amazon warehouse, when really both of their times are equal. And it's the only thing that we have. So what you spend your time on is important, and something to keep in mind. Where else we got conceptualizing? Yeah, hey, what's going on, Rico, baby? Yeah. So that's where we are. And the more we talk about this, and that's part of what I want to do. Like, I want to have these conversations. We need to have these conversations. And again, going back to the earth, I want to finish that. Everything that we got on this planet is given to us for free, right? The sun shines its rays on everything equally, the good and the bad, right? But the way that we divide up our resources, the way that we govern ourselves or allow ourselves to be governed is very specific, right? There's a million other ways that we can share resources on this planet, a million different ways besides the very limited options that we're given. We're given this option or this option, and both options are connected to both options are feeding the same system, right? And again, the system isn't benefiting us. If you look at what the system is doing, it's taking resources that are we can't get back. We're not going to get another planet. I know they're trying to go off and colonize other things and all this stuff. We're not going to get another Earth. We're not going to get another planet, right? But they'll take this planet and they'll run it in the dirt to make imaginary profit, right? That's their game for ego reasons. It's just a number in their bank account. They got more money than they can ever spend in multiple lifetimes. I looked at the cost of what it would take to end world hunger, for example. We can solve that with our military budget if we wanted to, just America, right? So it's not a lack of money or a lack of resources. It's these selfish and greedy people that we allow to claim ownership of something that they don't have. No one owns the dirt. No one owns the air. No one owns the land. No one owns the truth. Hey, what's going on, Herman? No one owns the truth. I don't own the truth. You don't own the truth. So. And the same thing with this planet. This is our planet, right? So as soon as we start realizing that and realize that we don't need them, that's part of the game as well. They install themselves as authority figures as if we can't make our own decisions. We can't govern ourselves. We're not smart enough to do the things and to make the decisions and to do these things ourselves. That's not the case, right? They want us to believe that we need them. And they try to, put themselves in those positions. How do we take it back? Part of it is starting with the realization that it can be taken back. And then the next stage is organization. Like we have to I know everybody talks about it, blah, blah, blah. But that's the only way we're going to be able to do that, right? Is to organize ourselves. And I believe we have the numbers. It's just we're separated. We got this person here, this person here, this person here, this person here. But if we can just get these nodes together and really show the other people, because really they want this. The majority of people can see the problems with the system. They're just not given an alternative solution, right? Because a lot of them look at the news and think that if it's not on the news, it's not real. If if it was real, if what we're talking about is true, it would be on the news. They don't understand that's part of the control, part of the script. So yeah, eventually we're going to have to organize. We're going to have to show them a different perspective, a different vision. And once they see the vision, and once they see the value for them and their families, and how it's going to improve their lives, they're going to want to be a part of it. It's going to make more sense. It's going to be comparing one thing to another. We just have to be able to show them the value in it, and we can do that in many different ways, and that's part of it. Yeah, one love, Gio. Good to see you, Lambo. All right, yeah, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all joining in, but I'm probably gonna put this up online. I think I can get the live video off of this, but yeah, that was the whole intent, and we'll have more discussions. And the whole presidential thing, they canceled that on the GoFundMe, because part of what I want to see, just from my perspective, while I'm still here and talking and doing this thing, I'm not going to be talking forever, but I want to see what happens when someone shows this perspective to the mainstream, really puts this in their face and shows the value, and really kind of bypasses the system to show an alternative. That's really why what I wanted to do with the whole presidential thing. I understand that the system's not going to allow someone like me to get in there and really change it to the degree it needs to be changed. There's so much money involved in corruption and things of that nature. But just to show the alternative, so that the people that are going to participate in the system can see another perspective, and maybe it can open their eyes to something greater, and we can simulate what we're, the reality and the government and the way we want to live within ourselves and on this planet, because we can do so much better. I mean, you think about all the different ways that we can govern ourselves and distribute resources on this planet, and this is the one particular way that we've allowed this to happen. And we see that it's only benefiting the few, it's degrading the planet that we all live on, and we don't have another one to go to. I know they're trying to get off planet, but we're going to be here, and this is a beautiful planet, right? It's a beautiful planet, and to see it being degraded for a false thing such as profit for greedy people, it's something that we can change. We have to expose the top. Absolutely. I think you have a lot more young people now with the same idea. I think so too, Julian. I think the younger generation, and they're looking at us as well. And but I agree. You're going to start a new party. So are you going to start a new party? Well, if it's a good question, if it's a party, I guess you could say that, but it's not. It's more of a unity party, I guess. If you want to label it, I guess we can label it. But it's more of. I said before, a leader of a leaderless movement. It's really giving the power back to the people. That's who's supposed to have it in the first place, right? And really showing different ideas that will benefit the people and not benefit a select few or select corporations and things of that nature. So and it's possible. If we're talking about it here and discussing it, then it's possible. And it's just a matter of putting into action to do it. And again, organizing and showing the value in it. I think that's a big piece of it. Just not talking about pie in the sky stuff, but actually showing the value of it and showing ways that we can get there, right? And I talked about that as well, like a lot of the waste in government spending and just waste all around, And again, the system doesn't have to be efficient, right? Because they can make their own budget, right? We can't do that. If we run out of credit, we just can't increase our credit limit, right? The government can do that. So they have no incentive to balance the budget. They're really, just kicking it down the line, kicking the can down the line, just like they're doing the planet. They're just, they're not worried about it. They're really looking at short-term gains for their own power. The graph is chaos. Yeah, it is a little chaos, but I kind of talked through it before with the whole up and down thing, and it's a play on human being and all that stuff. I'm not gonna go through it right here because it'll be. But I did do a post on it, and I kind of want to talk through here. So what happens when you die? So I don't know exactly how I haven't died, right? I'm still here. But the being part of you, the light part of you is non-physical, no thing, right? That's the greater part of you. So the only thing that perishes is the physical part of you. So that part of you is already experiencing space-time, which is kind of what this is talking about now. This whole life experience is in space, 3 dimensions, in time, which is just the movement of space from one point to another. But your consciousness is experiencing space-time. So when your body is unalive, if you will, or not in space-time, it has no effect on your consciousness. So that's kind of the thing about that. Alrighty, y'all. Well, I appreciate the time. I'm going to close this one out because I'm trying to put this video up and don't want to make it too long. What is the XY axis with space? So I was just talking about we're consciousness, we're light beings, we're non-physical beings having a human experience, right? And this human experience, what we call life, is 3-dimensional, right? Left and right, forward and back, and up and down, X, Y, Z. And then if you take that 3-dimensional reality, this physical thing, and time is just the movement of that from one point to another. Otherwise, it'll just be static, okay? So you got 3 dimensions and then 1 dimension of time, so 4 dimensions. But that's all experienced by you, the consciousness, the part of you that's experiencing this whole play of life, right? This is being fed to your conscious being, this being part of you. So this just kind of summarizes that. And just kind of shows that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And this human experience is within this space-time reality that's full of these ups and downs and this emotional roller coaster and this turbulence. But we're able to go from a sleep state to an awake state to where we realize that we're more than just physical beings, right? And that's the whole spiritual journey. It's to not add anything to what you are. This is what you are at your core. It's to remove the programming and when you realize when you take away what you're not, what is left is what you are. Right? So that's kind of no problem, no problem, Lance. But yeah, that's what that whole thing is trying to explain. And this whole thing was just turbulence, the whole awakening journey, and the just getting through the clouds and just showing how part of the illusion or the control that they try to do is the beings that get up here, they try to deify them and say they're the one and only ones and that their light is somehow special than your light, but it's all the same light. It's all the same being, with one being experiencing physicality. So that's really what it boils down to. Alrighty, y'all. I'm going to end this now. Again, appreciate it. Y'all be safe out there, and we'll do it again.